Hi everybody and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video. So we just barely got the new cards from Shurima, a new teaser. You guys should definitely go watch that because I'm not going to go through it again. We saw champions that are probably going to be released in the first part of this expansion, Nasus, Azir, and Renekton. All three of those are ascended champions, ascended champions from Shurima, which I think is going to come into play like in the course of this sort of region and reveal and things like that. And I'll say my predictions seem to be wrong here. It looks like we're going the card art, which I was basing my predictions on for the order of the champions that were going to be released during which expansions and everything. It looks like the card art is going to be mostly for this first expansion. At least that's what it looks like. Could still be wrong about that, but we are going to most likely be getting Nasus, Azir, and Renekton during the first part of this expansion. So pretty cool here. Let's see. We got a new keyword from Shurima. Countdown. Round start. I count down one. At 0, destroy me and activate the countdown effect. So at the round start, every round we're going to be counting down 1. So every one of these countdown cards are going to be having some sort of condition or this number condition where we have to get to 0 in order to activate them. Pretty self-explanatory, which also seems like we're going to be getting Zillion during the first part of this expansion as well, which I'm going to be wrong about. Zillion, and then hopefully Echo as well. I'd actually be very excited if we got Echo because he's one of my favorite champions in the game, or in League of Legends. So pretty excited. I would love to see Echo during this part of the expansion. It would be pretty cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at this Buried Sun Disk Landmark. Start of game, draw 1 of me if all of your cards are Shuriman. So this is looking like an Allegiance landmark. You're going to have all Shurima cards in your deck. This is the first type of landmark of this type where we get a bonus for having an Allegiance deck, which is pretty cool. So its countdown is 25, so under normal circumstances we would have to wait 25 turns for this card to be activated, and then we restore the Sun Disk. Alright, and then when an Ascendant ally levels up, advance me 10 rounds. So depending on how easy it is to level up our Ascendant allies, and this says ally, we're going to get into this in a second. I think there's going to be other Ascendants in the deck, not just champions, but other Ascendant units that can level up and is going to advance the Sun Disk. Now, I'm not for sure about that, and we don't really get any sort of reveal of those units. We don't have a champion today, so we don't really know how easy it is to level those guys up, and if the Ascendants, if they're other Ascendants besides the champions, which is what I'm guessing. We're not for sure about this yet, but it says ally, not champion. Just keep that in mind. So depending on how easy it is to level those guys up, could be really easy to get this Buried Sun Disk leveled up as well. So we have to wait and see those units before we get a really good bearing on how good this card is going to be. Now, I also said during my latest video that I hate the placement. I hate how ugly these stupid things are, and I think most people share my sentiment. Shout out to Buddy System. He said that there could be a sort of there could be a use in the game for these coming up where you need to know what type of regions you have in your hand. And this start of game, draw 1 of me if all of your cards are Shuriman, is kind of pointing towards that direction. So we're shouting out Buddy System. He could be right here. This is half right so far, although this is Allegiance, so you're building your deck specifically around Shurima. But it does kind of look like we could get cards in the future that are going to be region dependent, and you have to know what sort of regions are in your hand. So just keep that in mind. Kind of an interesting idea and could come into play in the future. Alright, let's go ahead and look at these other cards on Mobalytics. They revealed these cards. Buried Sun Disk, you'll see here, Restored Sun Disk. But let's just start at the left here with our favorite card, Poro. You'll remember for Targon, the Poro, the Sparkle, I can't even remember what it is because nobody uses it. That was like the last card revealed for Targon during that expansion, and we don't have to wait this time. We get Poro, Destined Poro, the first day. Amazing, guys. So no one worry about the Poro. The Poro's here. Poro showed up to play. We got the card art before, so we knew the Poro was going to be here. Round start. If you've leveled up a champion, transform me into Exalted Poro. So here's what I'm talking about. This says leveled champion. This says when an ascended ally levels up. So we have a different sort of feel here. This says champion specifically. Then we transform our Poro into an Exalted Poro. Let's go ahead and switch over here to Exalted Poro. Still 1 cost. I have 3 random keywords. Now, it doesn't look like this is going to be, it doesn't need to be on the board if we've leveled up a champion at any point in the game. It's going to turn into Exalted Poro, and we can put it down. And then it has 3 random keywords, which is interesting because this gives us a little bit more Heart of Fluff synergy, which I think we always need more of. You guys should all be super excited for Heart of Fluff synergy. I have 3 random keywords. It's only a 2/2, but could be potentially a buff target, which would be very interesting. And again, depending on how easy it is to level up the champions, I mean, we could technically get a really strange Poro deck from Shurima. Alright, let's go ahead and look at Restored Sundisk. Alright, immediately draw 1 of all your Ascendants. So this is telling me again, we get more Ascendants rather than just the champions. It doesn't say Ascendant Champions, it says Ascendants. So keep that in mind. We're going to get Ascendants. Most likely outside of champions. For the rest of the game, your level 2 Ascendants are level 3. Okay, this is kind of mind-blowing. All of a sudden, we have a second level up. We go to level 3 Ascendants. So who even knows what that's going to be? Obviously, they're going to be stronger, but yeah, this is interesting. We don't really know until we get these Ascendants how powerful this is going to be and how powerful they are going to be synergizing with the Restored Sundisk. Alright, Esteemed Hierophant. When I'm summoned, advance to your Buried Sundisk 2 rounds. So we draw, every round start, we count it down 1. So if you play this, we effectively speed it up to 3 per round. Yeah, I mean, this is just synergy with the Buried Sundisk, looking more like an Allegiance deck from Shurima. Alright, Devoted Council, round start. If you've leveled up a champion, heal your champions in Nexus 2. So this is going to be a heal generator, which could be kind of interesting for Soraka. So not only does this fit into this sort of Buried Sundisk Allegiance archetype, this fits as well into a Soraka archetype, kind of like a Star Springs sort of vibe here, except we're healing everybody too, as well as our Nexus. So this could be a very strong card. It also gives Soraka vibes because it's a 1/6, which is the exact same stat line as Soraka before she levels up. Yeah, kind of interesting. Alright, let's go on here to the Golden Ambassador, Allegiance. Draw a champion and grant it +2/+2. Alright, so we already know how effective and how powerful tutors can be. So for example, well, a tutor is a card that draws another card, right? It's a very specific card usually. And so that's like Zap Sprayfin. We've got the Babbling Björk as well. They're all drawing cards specifically. You can build your deck around them and make sure that you draw the cards that you need to. Very interesting card type. And this looks to be very strong. Now we do have a condition, it needs to be Allegiance, but under this sort of Buried Sundisk, we're going to be having Allegiance decks anyway with this particular archetype. And so, yeah, draw a champion, granted +2/+2. That's very strong. This is very similar to Written in the Stars. That reduces the champion cost and gives it +1/+1. So this is very similar in power, I believe. This is giving us a unit. We also can't use spell mana. This is probably a little bit stronger than Written in the Stars, and so it does have a little bit more limitations. The Allegiance being one of them, and then also you can't play spell mana to activate this, or to put this card down. But we do get a blocker, and we do draw a champion that's +2/+2, which is fairly strong, depending on depending on the mana cost of the champions. This could be a very good card. We don't really know. I'm guessing that Nasus and Renekton are going to be, one of them will be a 2-drop or 3-drop fairly early on in the game, and then I think Azir is going to be a little bit later of a champion, a late game champion. That's my opinion. We'll see what happens with that. So I think Golden Ambassador is a very strong card. I think it's going to hit pretty much all of these Shurima Allegiance decks. It has to. It is the Allegiance card, but I think it's going to be very powerful. Alright, let's go on to this next card, Voice of the Risen. If you've leveled a champion, allies have +2/+0. This is an epic card. Keep that in mind as well. This is hard to tell how good this card is going to be until we know how easy it is to level up the champions. Now, one champion that comes to mind that's fairly easy to level up on turn 3 is Katarina, interestingly enough. Very easy champion to level up so long as she hits. You can level her up. Voice of Risen is going to be activated on turn 4 as soon as you play it. It's kind of an interesting thought. Katarina doesn't get a lot of play, and I'll make a bold prediction here that we are going to get more recall synergy. And the reason for that, LeBlanc, Echo, and I'll have kind of this hypermobility that looks like it could be leaning towards a recall sort of archetype that we haven't really seen yet outside of Ionia. And we got Monastery of Harana, which is the worst landmark in the entire game, and they haven't really changed it, so I'm guessing that we're going to get some sort of recall synergy in other regions. That's going to synergize with Monastery of Harana to make it a little bit better. So that's my bold prediction. Kind of a sidetrack since we don't really have a tangent. We don't really have anything suggesting that we're going to be getting recall synergy at the moment, but that's a prediction I'm putting out there. And Katarina seems like it would be a very easy champion to level up and then get immediate value on turn 4 out of Voice of the Risen. So there we go. And now let's go ahead and look at this last card here, Ascended's Rise. Level up all level 1 Ascended allies. Again, the keyword is allies here, not champions. We're going to get more Ascended allies. And depending on when they come out, is very important. So we could get, for example, a 3-cost ally that we can play on turn 3, and then immediately play this on turn 4 for all of our mana costs. So we wouldn't play anything turn 1, turn 2. Turn 3, we play a level 3 champion that could be Ascended, or another, just a turn 3 card that we play that's Ascended, get it out, and then turn 7 we have 3 mana left over, plus 4 for the round, and then we play this on turn 4. So that's what it's looking to be. I imagine we're going to get some sort of Ascended ally. That's going to be a 3 cost at the very least, maybe a 2 and 1 cost. Well, we'll probably get 1 and 2 cost Ascended allies as well. This could be very much like the Celestial cards, where we get one unit per mana cost, 1 Ascended per mana cost, very similar to the Ascended allies. So we'll see what exactly happens. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are too. We can't really delve much into how strong these cards actually are until we see what the Transcended allies look like, and what the Transcended, is that right? What the Ascended allies look like, and what the champions and how easy they are going to be to level up. But pretty interesting. I'm excited. Hopefully, like I said, you guys are too. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks.